My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Every single week, we break down full UFC fight cards. We give you our bets, we give you our picks, and we give you our fantasy plays. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our content. And this video is brought to you by BETU Play to Earn. It is the world's first play-to-earn sports and esports betting game. Check it out now at betuearn.com. That's bet, the letter U, earn.com. And that moves us to a very exciting fight. We have Edson Barboza taking on Bryce Mitchell. Edson Barboza is 22-10 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off that loss to Giga. Bryce Mitchell is 14-0, 5-0 in his last 5, but he is coming back after a year-long layoff. And there's a few fight of the night fights on this card, and this is absolutely a candidate.
I think that's why he was off. I think he broke his hand, if I remember right.
Okay. Well, and he also, like...
It wasn't like he was just like... It's not like he's just like on his farm having fun, you know?
I think there was political reasons, too. Like, I refuse to do this if I have to wear a mask. I refuse to do that if I have to get vaccinated. Anyway, year-long layoff. There's only a few fights. There's already a few fights in this card that could be fight of the night.
Backwards again.
Damn it. Anyway...
Damn it.
There's a couple fights on this card that could be fight of the night, and this is one of them. Bryce Mitchell hasn't fought in a year, but he is back to cement the fact that Arkansas has the greatest American wrestling institution, period. Except that's not true, because Arkansas wrestling is absolute trash in the wrestling world. It's Jersey, Pennsylvania, states like that. But even though the state as a whole is not a good wrestling state, Bryce Mitchell is a good wrestler, a very good wrestler, who's put together some really solid takedowns and scrambles in the UFC. And he averages over 3 takedowns per fight. He had 7 in his fight against Andre Fili alone. His striking is awkward, but he doesn't even pretend that he wants to strike. He keeps his hands low and just starts diving at legs and working from there. If he gets you to the ground, which is almost an absolute guarantee, he doesn't even really strike. He works for submissions. He keeps control, and he's got some of the most incredible scrambles you will ever see in the UFC. Edson Barboza is a great striker with amazing movement. He has fought every single person in the division, and he's a walking highlight reel of knockouts and submissions. He's unbelievably fast and insanely technical. He's coming off that TKO loss to Giga, but before that, he had the incredible zombie KO against Shane Burgos. And Barboza doesn't really initiate many takedowns, but he is very good on the ground, and he has sneaky submissions when he's down there. Bryce Mitchell has been getting tougher and tougher competition as he moves up the ranks. And this fight against Edson is absolutely the next step. It's a nice step up in competition because Edson can win this fight on his feet. He can win this fight on the ground, where Bryce really only has one single path to victory, and that's just get it to the ground and work from there. But with Edson's experience, distance control, and 78% takedown defense over 26 fights, it's not an easy thing to do. Taking him down and beating him up is not going to be easy. Even Khabib only went 4 for 13 with takedowns when he fought Barboza. And I really don't know what to do here because Edson is the better fighter almost everywhere. Like literally almost everywhere, he's the better fighter. But the one thing that Bryce Mitchell does well, he does really, really well. And he just nonstop chain wrestles. And honestly, if he had a Dagestani last name, I think he'd be a minus 500 favorite because that is how he fights. Just shoot, 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 shoot. So I think Bryce Mitchell wins this fight. Edson Barboza, is crazy live, crazy talented, and Bryce Mitchell only has one way to win this fight, but I do think he wins this fight that one way. What do you think, Jake?
I mean, you know how I'm going to this fight. Arkansas wrestling. If you guys don't know Bryce Mitchell, you are going to know after this fight. You mentioned this could be fight of the night. This is not going to be fight of the night, but this could easily be performance of the night by Bryce Mitchell. He is just a good old boy. I don't even think he trains, man. I think the embedded was the first time I've ever seen him even hitting mitts in a gym, and he actually looked pretty crisp in his striking. I know he's been working on it. He was hitting pads, but it looked pretty good to me. obviously you don't want to strike in this matchup with Edson Barboza. You just want to do what you do. I see this the same way as almost like Khabib and Conor, right? Just get the fight to the ground. I see this Islam versus Bobby, right? And obviously Edson is more well-rounded than Bobby, but just get the fight to the ground. And I see this as dominant as those performances. I'm almost glad that you brought up the Dagestani last name because he is like a Dagestani wrestler. The guy is just non-stop, and he might even be better in his jiu-jitsu than like a Khabib or an Islam too. And both those guys are fantastic. I'm not saying he's better than them, but he might be the featherweight version of an Islam or Khabib. I mean, he's just that dominant on the ground. And with that said, he's in my parlay with Kevin Holland. I have a 3-fight parlay. It's Kevin Holland, Bryce, and it's Colby is a third one in my 3-fight parlay. I put 5 units on him to win straight up. I love the odds.
Jesus.
I think that he should be a 300 favorite. You mentioned if he had the Dagestani lives, he'd be a big favorite. I think he should be a 300 favorite. I think that it's minus 150. I got it at. I put 5 units on it. I love Bryce Mitchell's matchup. He just knows what he does, and he just does it. He just comes across. He's going to go after your legs. If he can't get it, he's going to move to the next thing. Eventually, you're on the ground. He's on your back, and you're getting choked out or your arm broke. So I'm biased when I say this. I love Bryce Mitchell. I've always liked Bryce Mitchell as a grappler, but I put 5 units on him, and he's in my parlay. I love Bryce. Love him in this matchup.
Well, and you got to respect the fact that he sticks to what he knows he should do. I mean, how many times do we break down fighters that have a clear path to victory but don't take it? How many fight like Ramiz Brahimaj? He finally did what he was supposed to do, but how many times do we break him down? All he needs to do is this, and he doesn't do it. Bryce Mitchell's not that guy. He knows exactly what he is.
And you know what he's been doing all week while everyone's kind of training in the gym, cleaning some stuff up, still getting in some light work, pad work, and stuff like that. He's just been fishing, man.
A rant of fishing. He went on long rant on Ariel's show about everything.
Huh? Oh yeah. I mean, he does have wild conspiracies about everything, but he's been hanging out at his farm. He's like, man, if everyone's that's how you get hurt, man. It's just, I mean, that's how he sounds. I mean, he's like, man, that's how everyone gets hurt. Last week, what you got to do, man? I just want to do what I'm happy. That when it comes to fight night, I'm ready to go. I'm happy, man. You'll fight better if you're happy. I believe him, man. He's a good old boy. There's no more Arkansas than Bryce Mitchell.
Well, I think we think Bryce Mitchell wins. These odds are probably accurate. They're probably accurate. Minus 155 favorite. The odds are accurate, but like I said, if you just took Bryce Mitchell but called him Umar Nurmagomedov, he'd be a minus 400 favorite. Just optics alone.
I said
That's
last
exactly
week
how he fights.
That Josie should have been a 900 favorite. I think this is one that should be a 500 favorite. Josie dominated. Bryce is going to dominate.
Well,
and here's what I'm worried about too, and you'll like this because I have it in my notes. The only thing I really am worried about is the Ilya Tapora Ryan Hall situation, where obviously he's a much better wrestler, Ryan Hall, but he misses that first takedown. And Edson's got some real power, man. He's got some good striking where it's boom, boom, and all of a sudden it's Bryce Mitchell like, uh-oh, like what do I do now type of thing, which we saw with Ryan Hall. And obviously Bryce Mitchell, not quite the grappler, but much better wrestler than Ryan Hall. But that's the only thing that worries me. If I put 5 units, I'm not that worried about it.
I'm not going to touch this from a betting perspective because I love Edson, and I think Edson can win. So no way I'm betting on it. Bryce Mitchell, $8,300 in DraftKings. That's actually a freaking bargain. If you can count the takedowns, the control time, $8,300 for Bryce Mitchell, that's a fantastic price. You agree? Yeah, of course you
agree. Yeah. I'm 100%.
But Edson Barboza
someone said he's going to have to strike with Edson. If he strikes, it's going to be a problem. He's going to be diving, and there's going to be no striking for Bryce Mitchell. Even if he's not getting takedowns, he's going to be constantly on your hips, on your legs, doing something. He doesn't strike.
You are spot on that the concern is he could look like Ryan Hall, just taking bad shots and getting cracked in the mouth. Because Edson Barboza is no freak. Edson Barboza is Charles Oliveira, just didn't get to win the belt.
Yeah, but
same guy.
But Ryan Hall was like not normal takedowns, right? So he was just kind of doing weird stuff and getting caught. Where Bryce Mitchell is going to get on your hips, he's going to get on your legs, and you can't really do anything after that. So
yeah, well, it will be interesting to see. I'm actually looking for. I'm surprised this isn't the co-main event now. Now that we've lost, the fights get switched up a bit. Monkey knife fight. I think it's a less. Even if it goes through decision, because Bryce Mitchell, if you look at his total strike counts, it's like 40 something. It's not high. He's a very low volume guy because he is just constantly grappling. And Edson Barboza, I imagine, is spending most of this fight on his back, or, maybe he cracks Bryce and that's the end of it. So it's probably a less, or maybe even a more on Edson and a less on Bryce.
Yeah, it's just the only reason I would play more on Edson. It's definitely less on Bryce. I would play more on Edson if you think he's going to stuff some takedowns, or at least be able to stop the takedowns against the cage, because then you have the strikes like this. Sure. If Bryce is able to get him on his back, though, it's gonna be big trouble for Edson.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, man. I do love Edson Barboza, but facts are facts. The dude's aging, and yes, he's defending takedowns, but the reality is, Bryce just shoots a million times over. If you want 50 free bucks to do with what you want, go to weonpicks.com/bets. We have 5 betting partners. Make a deposit with any one of those 5. Let me know after you do, and I send you 50 bucks. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, literally however you want it. 50 bucks as a thank you.